Welcome to the Abyss Within the Void. This episode I'll discuss null energy. Now I just recently discovered that this is a real scientific theory, and I'll discuss that to the best of my ability, as well as the metaphysical and primal null energy I'm more familiar with. The concept of null energy can be understood in a few contexts depending on the field of discussion. In physics, it's not a commonly used term in mainstream discussions, but can relate to speculative theories or interpretations in certain areas like quantum mechanics or general relativity. Below are a couple of contexts in which something akin to null energy might be referenced. 1. Quantum vacuum or zero-point energy. This is a quantum mechanics theory. Now, I must confess, I have troubles understanding quantum mechanics, so this took a lot of studying. But from what I understand, quantum mechanics is a fundamental theory in physics that provides a description of the physical properties of nature at the scale of atoms and subatomic particles. It's markedly different from classical physics, as it incorporates principles that seem counterintuitive or even bizarre from the perspective of our everyday experiences. At the heart of quantum mechanics are a few key concepts. 1. Quantization. Many physical properties, such as energy, spin, and charge, come in discrete units called quanta. This means that these properties can only take on certain discrete values, much like how a staircase has distinct steps, rather than being a smooth ramp. 2. Wave-particle duality. Particles at the quantum level, such as electrons and photons, exhibit both wave-like and particle-like properties. For example, light can be seen as both a wave, it can interfere and diffract, and as particles. It can knock electrons off a surface in the photoelectronic field. 3. Superposition. Quantum systems can exist in multiple states at the same time until they are measured. This is famously illustrated by Schrodinger's cat thought experiment, where a cat in the box can be simultaneously already alive and dead until the box is open and the cat is observed. 4. Entanglement. Particles can become entangled, meaning the state of one, no matter how far away, is dependent on the state of another. If you change the state of one particle, the state of the other changes instantly, no matter the distance between them, defying the classical idea of locality. 5. Uncertainty principle. Formulated by Werner Heisenberg, this principle states that there is a fundamental limit to what we can know about the properties of quantum particles. For example, the more precisely we know the position of a particle, the less precisely we can know the momentum, and vice versa. Now that we have an understanding of quantum mechanics, let's discuss this theory. The quantum vacuum or zero-point energy concept refers to the lowest possible energy that a quantum mechanical physical system may have. Unlike in classical mechanics, where a system can have zero energy, quantum mechanics dictates that all physical systems have a minimum amount of energy, a consequence of the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. This principle states that certain pairs of physical properties, like position and momentum, cannot both be precisely measured at the same time. The more precisely one property is measured, the less precisely the other can be controlled, leading to the conclusion that a quantum system can never be at rest in the classical sense. In the vacuum state, particles are not present in the traditional sense, but the fluctuations of the field still exist, leading to the creation and annihilation of particle and antiparticle pairs. These fluctuations contribute to the zero-point energy of the system. This energy is a fundamental aspect of the vacuum state in quantum field theory, the framework combining quantum mechanics with the special relativity to describe fundamental interactions. The concept of zero-point energy emerges from the development of quantum mechanics in the early 20th century, with contributions from several key physicists. Max Planck, who is often accredited with the initial discovery related to zero-point energy during his work on black body radiation in 1900. He introduced the idea that energy is quantized, leading to the notion that even at absolute zero, a system has a ground state energy or a zero-point energy due to these quantum fluctuations. Albert Einstein and Otto Stern proposed the concept of zero-point energy in 1913, explicitly stating that the idea of that the harmonic oscillator should have residual energy. E equals frac 1 to /h bar /omega / where /h bar / is reduced Planck's constant / omega is the angular frequency of the oscillator. This was an extension of Planck's quantum hypnosis. Werner Heisenberg, Erwin Schrödinger, and Paul Dirac, amongst others, further developed quantum mechanics in the 1920s, providing a more comprehensive theoretical framework that naturally includes the concept of zero-point energy. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, formulated in 1927, is crucial for understanding why particles cannot be completely at rest in the quantum vacuum. The theory of quantum electronics, QED, developed further by Richard Feynman, Julian Schwinger, Shinichiro Tomonaga, and Freeman Dyson in the mid-20th century, provides a more detailed understanding of the quantum vacuum. QED describes how particles and fields interact in the quantum vacuum, leading to observable effects that like the Lamb shift and the Casimir effect, which provide experimental evidence of zero-point energy. Thus, while no single individual can be credited with developing the theory of zero-point energy, this is the result of contributions from many physicists over the first half of the 20th century. Zero-point energy has been a topic of interest not only in fundamental physics but also in speculative applications, including areas of space propulsion, and as a potential source of unlimited energy. However, these applications remain highly speculative and face significant scientific and technical challenges. The zero-point energy is indeed real and contributes to several observable phenomena, such as the Casimir effect, where the two uncharged metallic plates attract each other in a vacuum due to differences in the zero-point energy between the inside and outside regions. In summary, the quantum vacuum or zero-point energy represents a fascinating and fundamental aspect of quantum mechanics, illustrating in rich structure and dynamics that arise even in seemingly empty space. Now, our second theory is negative energy in general relativity. Negative energy in the context of general relativity is a fascinating and complex topic, even associated with theoretical constructs such as wormholes and the Alcubierre drive. In general relativity, energy distribution influences the curvature of space-time, which in turn determines the motion of objects. This theory does not outright forbid negative energy, but its physical realization poses significant changes and paradoxes. 1. Wormholes and exotic matter. Wormholes are hypothetical structures in space-time that could create shortcuts for long journeys across the universe. To keep a wormhole open, exotic matter with negative energy density would be required. This exotic matter would have to exert a repulsive force, countering the natural tendency of the wormhole to collapse under gravity. The concept of negative energy is crucial here, as it would help to stabilize the wormhole's throat, allowing passage between different regions of space-time. The Alcubierre drive is a speculative idea based on general relativity that proposes a mechanism for faster-than-light travel within a warp bubble. This bubble would contact space in front of it and expand space behind it, effectively moving the spacecraft within the bubble at the speed of light relative to the outside space. Creation and maintenance of such a warp bubble would require negative energy, again invoking the concept of exotic matter. Quantum field and the Casimir effect. In quantum field theory, the concept of negative energy appears in phenomena like the Casimir effect. This can be interpreted as a manifestation of negative energy density in certain configurations. However, the translation of these quantum phenomena to the macrocosmic scales, as required in general relativity and cosmology, remains speculative and controversial. 4. Energy conditions. In this study of general relativity, energy conditions are used to constrain the types of matter and energy that can exist. These conditions are assumptions that require the energy density to be positive in certain frames of reference. However, certain theoretical models can allow for the violation of these conditions, suggesting the possibility of negative energy under certain circumstances. 5. Physical implications and controversies. The concept of negative energy is surrounded by theoretical and practical controversies, while mathematically plausible within certain frameworks. The existence of negative energy and its properties challenge our understanding of energy conservation, causality, and the nature of space-time. Moreover, the creation of negative energy in sufficient quantities for application like wormholes, warp drives is beyond current technological capabilities and remains purely speculative. Think Star Trek. In summary, while the negative energy is a concept that arises in theoretical models within great relativity and quantum field theory, its physical realizations and implications are subjects of ongoing research and debate. the intriguing possibilities it offers for phenomena like wormholes and faster-than-light travel continue to fuel speculation and theoretical exploration in physics. The concept of negative energy and its implications in general relativity, particularly in the context of wormholes and the Alcubierre drive, are developments that have emerged from the foundational works of several physicists. Wormholes and exotic matter in the context of general relativity was first discussed in a rigorous manner by Albert Einstein and Nathan Rosen in 1935 in a paper where they described what is now called the Eisen-Rosen bridges. I'm sorry, that's wrong. Einstein-Rosen bridges. However, the idea of using negative energy to stabilize wormholes was developed much later, with the significant contributions from physicists like Kip Thorne and his colleagues in the late 20th century. Thorne, in particular, played a key role in popularization concept of traversable wormholes that might be made more stable with exotic matter, which exhibits negative energy densely. The concept of the Alcubierre drive was proposed by Mexican theoretical physicist Miguel Alcubierre in 1994. Alcubierre introduced a mathematical model within the framework of general relativity that demonstrates how faster-than-light travel could be theoretically possible by expanding and contracting space-time itself. This model relies on negative energy density provided by hypothetical exotic matter to create warp bubble that could transport an object faster than light without violating the principle of relativity. The quantum theory, field theory, and Casimir effect was a phenomenon predicted by Dutch physicists Henrik Casimir and Dirk Polder in 1948, is often cited as an example of negative energy in quantum field theory. The effect has been experimentally observed, involves the attraction between two uncharged parallel plates in a vacuum, attributed to the negative energy density of the vacuum between the plates. This quantum mechanical phenomenon is one of the few physical processes that hints at the existence of negative energy under certain conditions. These developments span across the fields of general relativity and the quantum field theory, indicating the collaborative and cumulative nature of progress in theoretical physics. Each of these theories and concepts relies on the foundational principle of physics laid down by early 20th century physicists, including Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity, which remains for the cornerstone for understanding the cosmos on the largest scales. Now, our third theory is null energy condition, shortened NEC. The null energy condition is a principle in general relativity that imposes a restriction on the type of matter that can exist in space-time. It's one of several energy conditions used in physics to make certain general statements about black holes, the evolution of the universe, and the possible existence of exotic matter. In simple terms, the NEC states that for any null vector, the energy momentum sensor of matter satisfies the condition. T mu nu n mu, and nu is greater than or equal to 0. Here, T, mu, nu refers to the components of energy, momentum, sensor, and N, mu refers to the components of any null vector. As side note, I don't fully understand any of this. I'm still learning about all of this as we speak. But this is what I got from understanding all of the different articles that I've read on it. The repeated indices imply a summation over these indices according to Einstein's summation convention, which is common notation in the field of general relativity and theoretical physics. This means that the energy density, as measured by any observer moving along a light-like or null path, must be non-negative. In the context of general relativity, where T mu nu represents the distribution and flow of energy and momentums of space-time, this condition is used to assert physical constraints on types of matter fields and their distributions. The importance of NEC and other energy conditions comes from their applications of proving important theorems in the theory of general relativity. For instance, they are used in the proofs of Penrose-Hawking's singularity theorems, which show under certain conditions that spacetimes must contain singularities, points where the gravitational field becomes infinite. They also play a crucial role in discussions about the cosmic censorship hypothesis and the stability of spacetime. However, it's also worth noting that while the NEC is a useful tool in theoretical physics, there are known theoretical constructions, particularly in quantum field theory and string theory, where NEC can be violated. These violations have led to an interesting speculative theories about the universe, including the possibility of exotic phenomena like traversable wormholes and the acceleration of the universe's expansion, dark energy, which might not obey the traditional energy conditions. No null energy condition, along with other energy conditions, arrives from the field of general relativity, which was developed by Albert Einstein in 1915. However, the energy conditions themselves, including the NEC, were not explicitly formulated by Einstein. They emerged from the works of physicists who were building upon Einstein's theory of general relativity in the subsequent decades. The energy conditions were developed and formalized as part of the efforts to understand the behavior of matter and energy in the context of general relativity, especially in the extreme conditions such as those near singularities in black holes. These conditions were instrumental in proving important theorems in general relativity, such as the Hawking-Penrose singularity theorems developed by Stephen Hawking and Roger Penrose in the 1960s and 70s. Therefore, while Einstein laid the groundwork for general relativity, the development of null energy condition and other similar conditions is attributed to the collective work of physicists who extended his theory to explore the fundamental properties of space-time and matter. Specific origin of the NECs as a distinct concept is more diffuse, emerging in the field of theoretical physicists as researchers explored the implications of Einstein's equation under various conditions. In the context of witchcraft, however, energy is often viewed as the metaphysical and spiritual lens distinct from its scientific definition. Energy, in the sense, is considered a fundamental force that pervades all things living and inanimate, connecting them through a vast interwoven network. Here's a more detailed breakdown of its definition. 1. Universal life force. Energy is frequently described as a universal life force, akin to the concept of chi in Taoism, prana in Hinduism, or mana in various Polynesian cultures. It's seen as the essence that animates life and maintains balance in the universe. 2. Manipulatable and directable. Practitioners of witchcraft believe this energy can be intentionally directed through will, intention, rituals, spells, and symbols to effect change. This manipulation is based on the principle that energy follows thought, and through focusing their mind in energy, practitioners can influence the physical and spiritual realms. 3. Vibrational frequency. Everything is thought to have a vibrational frequency, and part of that working with energy involves understanding and aligning with these frequencies. This could mean raising one's vibration to match the desired outcome of tuning into the natural rhythms of the universe. Elemental and natural forces. Many witchcraft traditions assign elemental properties, such as earth, air, fire, water, and sometimes spirit, to different types of energies. And in Chinese, there's also wood added too. These elements are used in rituals and spells to harness specific energies for a specific purpose, often drawing power from the natural world. 5. Personal and transpersonal. Energy in witchcraft can be personal, emanating from the practitioner's own spiritual and emotional being, or transpersonal, connecting to the wider, more universal energies. This practice involves understanding and navigating both realms. Healing and protective. Energy work in witchcraft also encompasses healing and protection. Practitioners may work with the energy to heal themselves or others, physically, emotionally, or spiritually, to create barriers against negative influences. And lastly, a tool for transformation and manifestation. Ultimately, energy is the metaphysical and spiritual context of witchcraft is seen as a tool for transformation. By understanding and working with energy, practitioners believe they can manifest changes in their lives and in the world around them. This spiritual conception of energy is deeply personal and varies widely among different traditions and individual practitioners of witchcraft. It's a rich and complex topic that intertwines with many aspects of spirituality, philosophy, and personal belief systems. Primal and primordial energy are terms often used within various spiritual, mystical, and metaphysical traditions to describe the foundational, original, or earliest forms of energy from which all things in the universe are believed to be originated. Despite their similar sounding names and contexts in which they are used can provide different nuances to their meanings. Here's a closer look at each. Primal energy refers to the initial raw and powerful force that exists at the very beginning of creation, or that underlies the most basic aspects of reality. In many spiritual beliefs, this energy is seen as the original state of the universe from which all life and matter have emerged, highly potent and often associated with creation, instinct, and innate power, accessible through deep meditation, certain rituals, or through connecting with nature at a fundamental level. Representation of the untamed, undifferentiated force that can be harnessed or tapped into spiritual growth, healing, or transformation. Primordial energy, while similar to primal energy, often carries a connotation of being the very first or original energy from which the universe and everything in it was created. It is viewed as the source of all existence, predating even the gods in some mythologies and personal belief systems. Considered to be omnipresent and eternal, existing before the formation of the physical universe, associated with the concept of a universal life force or divine spark that permeates all things, connecting them in a profound cosmic unity. Often linked to concepts of chaos and order, where from this primordial chaos, the cosmos and all of its order emerged. Both primal and primordial energy concepts share common themes of universality, creation, and the foundational forces of existence. They differ mainly in their scope and focus, with primal energy often seen as a more accessible raw force that can be harnessed, and primordial energy viewed as a more abstract, all-encompassing source from which everything originates. In practice, these energies are considered accessible to those who engage in certain spiritual, religious, or mystical practices. Meditations, rituals, creative expression, and communion with nature are among the ways the individuals might connect with these energies. The pursuit of such connections often aims at personal transformation, healing, enlightenment, or the fulfillment of one's potential by aligning with the fundamental forces of the universe. Null energy in physics, also known as zero-point energy, is a type of energy that exists at a fundamental level and pervades the entire universe. In witchcraft, the term null energy is used to refer to the power derived from the abyss and void, a primordial energy that is the source of all magic and magical energy. In this sense, the two concepts of null energy share a common theme as the primal force behind their respective fields. Both the scientific and magical notions of null energy are seen as omnipresent forces that underlie the very foundations of reality. Translating null energy from physics to witchcraft involves shifting from a strictly empirical and measurable understanding of energy to a more symbolic and intention-based interpretation. Here are a few ways this translation might occur in detail. Energy balance and neutrality. In physics, a system in a state of energy equilibrium might have no net force acting upon it, akin to a null state. In witchcraft, achieving a state of energetic neutrality might involve rituals aimed at balancing or neutralizing energies, symbolizing a return to a peaceful or harmonious state. 0-point energy and potential. 0-point energy in physics represents the lowest possible energy state, a concept that could translate into witchcraft as the untapped potential inherent to all things or situations. This could symbolize the foundational energy from which practitioners can draw to manifest changes or initiate new beginnings. Vacuum states and emptiness in quantum field theory. The vacuum state is not truly empty, but filled with fluctuating energy. In esoteric practices, this can be interpreted as the idea that what appears as empty or null actually contains potential energies and forces that can be harnessed or acknowledged through spiritual practices. Cleansing and protective rituals. The idea of nullifying negative energies in witchcraft might draw parallels to the idea of bringing a system to a lower energy state or neutralizing unwanted forces in a physical sense. Rituals that focus on cleansing, protection, or banishing might seem as ways to nullify the undesirable energies within the space or individual. Now, this is simply interpreting the theories regarding primordial null energy. However, you can do many things, such as influencing events and outcomes. Null magic can be used to reshape the patterns of the universe. This can include manipulating the movement of constellations, bending the flow of energy throughout the spiritual world, or even altering fate to achieve desired outcomes. Creating spells and rituals. Null magic can be used to create custom spells and rituals, tailoring them to specific needs and desires. The spell can include rituals and symbols, and the rituals can include mantras and invocations. Controlling emotions. Null magic can be used to heighten or dampen emotions. This can be used to amplify positive results, emotions, such as joy or passion, or to dull negative emotions such as fear or hatred. Modifying reality. Null magic can also be used to alter reality itself, reshape the physical world, or even change fundamental aspects of existence. This could involve bending space and time, distorting gravity, or manipulating matter on an atomic level. Now, the first and fourth applications of null magic are related to psionics and psychokinesis. The first application of null magic involves influencing emotions, which is related to the domain of psionics and psychokinesis. And the fourth one involves controlling reality. Psionics is a study and practice of psychic abilities and phenomena. It encompasses a wide range of abilities, including telepathy, telekinesis, intuition, aura reading, astral projection, and more. One of the key principles of psionics is that of consciousness, mind, and reality are all closely related, and that with training and practice, one can gain access to abilities considered impossible by the conventional science. Psionics as a field of study and practice is seen as significant rise in popularity in recent decades, especially with the growth of New Age and spiritual movements. Some of the most famous names in psionics include Edgar Cayce, Pierre Delattre, and Uri Geller. Today, psionics has become an important topic in many fields of study, including psychology, neuroscience, parapsychology, and even particle physics. It is a field that continues to grow and evolve as each new discoveries are made about the nature of the mind and reality. With that said, this became much more complicated than I expected. I'm not the best at science, especially with physics, but this was very interesting to study. And I will be releasing the resources in the description. Thank you for listening to me in this fascinating union of science and magic.